Sorry, everybody, but that was a special delivery. Had to take, so we're back. All right, cool. And I can now, if you're keeping score on this, go to the 10-minute and 38-second mark, and go from there. Okay, so we're back, and as I was saying that the Oakland City Council made the decision to alter the city budget in such a way that it was reported that there was a 17% reduction in the police budget. $17 million, not 17%, excuse me. $17 million, $17.5 million, some people upped it to $18 million reduction in the police budget. Oakland Council member Nikki Fortunato Bas released this press release and sent a copy to his NE62 Media. Thank you. And I'm going to share it with you right now as I read it to you. It's also in the text below. And for your perusal, basically. And for some particular reason, I'll use this. It's not coming up as I want it to come up. So I'll put it here. Or there. Right there. Excuse me for one moment, please. I'm not going anywhere this time when I say that. But I want to make sure that you see this letter as is and don't think that I'm ad-libbing or something like this. So here is the letter right there. Okay. And yes, I have 88,000 emails, whatever. Let's see if we can zoom in on this so you can get a closer look. Zoom in and zoom in. So you can read it even better. I will zoom in more and zoom in more. Okay. How's that? Pretty good. Okay. Pretty good. All right. Oakland Police increased by 38.5 million or 6%. The police budget increased by 38.5 million or 6% in Council President Nikki Fortunato Bas' budget. She used that twice. Council members send letter to Mayor Schaaf and Police Chief Armstrong urging correction of inaccurate information and fear-inciting rhetoric to public and media. And this was says released yesterday, but I just received it today. Oh, I get it. Let me read this. Yesterday, July 1st, 2021, Oakland City Council President Nikki Fortunato Bas, I know it doesn't say City Council, I put the city in there myself deliberately, and her budget team of council members, Carol Fife, District 3, Dan Kalb, District 1, and Noel Gallo, District 5, sent a joint letter to Mayor Schaaf, Administrator Reiskin, and Police Chief Armstrong to express serious concern over the administration to police departments sharing of inaccurate and misleading information regarding police funding in the fiscal year 2021-2023 budget passed on Thursday, June 24th. No cuts to policing made. Oakland police budget is in fact increasing by 6%. The city's 2029-2021 budget allocation hit $635,278,301 for police spending. This total accounts for mid-cycle budget amendments made in 2020 through 2021, whereas prior released numbers did not reflect these amendments. Oakland's new 2021-2023 budget allocates $673.8 million for police spending and 38.54 million, or rather a 38.54 million increase from the last budget cycle in the city's general purpose fund. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf's proposed budget, the press release reads, for 2021-2023 would have increased police spending to $692.58 million. Council President Bas' budget increased police spending but redirected $18,735,358 of Schaaf's proposed increase toward tripling the Department of Violence Prevention's budget and expanding macro. Oakland's civilian crisis response program in the Oakland Fire Department. The Oakland Police Department's projected staffing levels in the first year are the same in both Mayor Schaaf's proposal and the budget passed by council, which will serve as a transitional year to divert non-criminal, non-violent 911 calls to alternative responses in the fire and transportation departments. Defining violence interruption and plans to expand violence prevention in 2021-2023. On Tuesday, June 29, Oakland Council President Bas convened a public panel on the Department of Violence Prevention's plans to expand violence prevention efforts in Oakland using its significantly increased budget, with Guillermo Cepedez, Oakland's Chief of Violence Prevention, as well as life coaches and violence interrupters, leading frontline organizations addressing gun, gang, and group violence, gender-based violence, human trafficking, and trauma in Oakland. During the panel, Chief Cepedez has shared that San Francisco's 2020 homicide rate was 5 homicides per 100,000 residents with 32 violence interrupters. Los Angeles rate hovers around 10 homicides per 100,000 residents with 132 violence interrupters. By contrast, Oakland is severely understaffed. Our homicide rate was 24 homicides per 100,000 residents with only 10 violence interrupters. Quote, I am disappointed by our mayor and police chief characterizing Oakland's new budget to the media and general public as having defunded or decimated the police budget when in fact total resources allocated for policing have increased by 6% or $38.5 million in this budget compared to our last 2-year budget. Since 2012, or 10 years ago, Oakland Police Department's budget has increased by more than $100 million, said Nikki Fortunato Bas. I apologize, folks. So the way this is written, it looked like they broke the paragraph when they didn't. And that's just me misreading it, though, okay? Let me try that again. This is a quote from Oakland Council President Nikki Fortunato Bas, where she says, I'm disappointed by our mayor and police chief characterizing Oakland's new budget to the media and general public as having defunded or decimated the police budget, when in fact total resources allocated for policing have increased by 6% or $38.5 million in this budget compared to our last 2-year budget. Since 2012, OPD's budget has increased by more than $100 million. As leaders of our city, she continued, we must not use exaggerated, inaccurate information. It prevents us from coming together to focus on strengthening our public safety system's ability to address violent and serious crime while transitioning to build effective alternatives for nonviolent, low-level 911 calls for service. Now, I'm presenting this to you. I don't know at this point what the mayor is going to shoot back. Let me see if there's anything on Twitter regarding what the mayor might have put out in response to this. But for my take, I feel that there's a gigantic problem in understanding how cities work. Too often in Oakland, we say, hey, there's a crime problem and we have to put out more police. And I get that. I've said, yeah, you need, particularly now, you need more police to respond. That's my assertion. But the basic problem is that the real source of violence in Oakland has to do with people who don't have money and don't see a way out, and they're frustrated during this pandemic. And if you turn, we've made it very difficult for people to get the resources they need easily. We have sent them through bureaucracies that more often than not are not well equipped to handle the deluge of people who need help. And then on top of that, you get this media that says, hey, everything is okay now because, well, the stock market is up, or maybe you don't have stock, or people are finding jobs, they're getting employed, but you have a lot of people who checked out of the workforce, okay? When people complain on social media about their problems, when people are complaining about, like myself, the horrors of dealing with small business administration, and turning out that I'm not the only one, I'm getting emails from other people, and that there are a myriad number of other problems that people are having just simply getting the basic help they need from government, there's a problem, and that produces frustration. So what the city needs to do is, first of all, ask this question: do we have enough people to be in an area to make sure that people have the resources and the money in their pockets they need to be well mentally? That's the first question we have to ask as a city. My personal issue with the Office of Violence Prevention is simply this: the way it's has been constructed, and perhaps this change will, lead to another direction. The violence has to occur for the crisis managers to then be activated. What I am saying is that we have to reduce the rate at which those violent actions occur. And we have to do that by asking questions about aspects of a person's life in Oakland that seemingly have nothing to do with committing a crime. Many people say, well, we have to get guns off the street, right? Well, what about asking the question, why do people use the guns? Why do they feel they have to have them? And you don't necessarily need a survey to do that. But what you need to look at across the board is that Oakland has a giant homeless problem. Oakland has a giant problem of lack of jobs for low-skilled people. And we've done nothing, absolutely nothing about it. That in and of itself is where we need to start improving. So let's see what the mayor has to say about this. Maybe Ed Reiskin will come out of his cave and talk for a change. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. That ends this broadcast.